His style was so hyperkinetic that when he was first seen on television as an alien, it seemed like typecasting, even though he had never seen his type before.
Nanu.
Mork and Mindy was a runaway hit in its first season and made Robin Williams a star, but his reputation for quick wit and improvisation emerged from his amazing stand-up comedy.
In California this summer, all the state parks caught on fire, which was sad because these parks are full of weed. Even the guys fighting the fires are like, oh my God, make another rainbow, Tommy!
And even if you had never seen him on a stage, you couldn't miss his legendary appearances on late-night talk shows. Like a popcorn kernel in hot oil, he'd bounce around the stage, characters, voices, and stories poured out of him.
20 years of Mrs. Doubtfire was a great, great thing to do. Finding the voice was the hardest part, because initially I made her sound like Margaret Thatcher, and that would probably scare the hell out of children. Go to bed, child, or I'm going to fire a cruise missile. Don't be afraid.
His transition from comic to dramatic actor was more graceful than we might have imagined. As Garp in John Irving's The World According to Garp, he was no longer just the comedian whose energy left us breathless.
We'll take the house.
Garp.
Honey, the chances of another plane hitting this house are astronomical. See, it's been pre-disastered. We're going to be safe here.
It was 5 busy years before Robin Williams had his next major role.
Good morning, Vietnam!
As Vietnam War-era soldier DJ Adrian Cronauer, Robin Williams knew funny.
Where you from?
I'm from Cleveland, man.
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Obviously, Vietnam's not that much of a change for you then.
But he also knew betrayal and sadness.
You, my friend. I trusted you. You hear me?
Most of us had no idea in those days how much he had already struggled with addiction and depression. He was the funny genius who could act. He received an Academy Award nomination for his role in Good Morning Vietnam. His next Academy Award nomination came with Williams as an inspirational English teacher in Dead Poets Society.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion.
His voice became top of mind for millions of kids when he was the genie in the animated blockbuster Aladdin.
What would you wish for? Freedom. You're a prisoner? It's all part and parcel the whole genie gig.
Robin Williams was seen or heard in some 4 films. His Academy Award came for his role in Good Will Hunting.
We got to give this kid direction. He can contribute to the world, and we can help him do that.
Direction's one thing, manipulation's another.
Well, Sean,
you have to let him find
Sean, I'm not sitting at home every night twisting my mustache and hatching a plan to ruin this boy's life. I was doing advanced mathematics when I was 18, and it still took me over 20 years to do something worthy of a Fields Medal.
Well, maybe he doesn't want what you want. There's more to life than a Fields Medal.
As a psychologist charged with saving a math prodigy, Williams steals the movie with a simple refrain.
It's not your fault. Look at me, son. It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
I know.
No, you don't. It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
All right.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't with me. It's not your fault. Don't with me, all right? Don't with me, Sean, not you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
When I think about Williams' career, I keep coming back to The Fisher King. Williams played a homeless man consumed by grief and depression. He's battling a demon, a hallucination.
That's why little people sent you. They knew that. It's like magic.
I don't believe in little floating people, okay? There is no magic.
But you're still gonna help me, Jack. That's what matters.
That's Harry, or whatever your name is. You know none of this is true. The Grail, the voices.
Jack,
there's a part of you that knows it's not true.
You're acting weird, Jack.
I know who you are. You're an
Weird.
Jack!
Let go of me! Let go of me, Jack! No!
It comes to him as a galloping red knight, a terrifying specter that appears without warning. Robin Williams died without warning at the age of 63. In the end, the Red Knight returned.